My heart's narrative has been waiting to be told, hidden like a secret. I never imagined my life would change so drastically as a stepmother when I became embroiled in a story of repressed passion and said yearning. This confession is against the rules. Always saw myself as the leader of a happy family where love and understanding could grow. Home comforts were comforting in my first few years married to Richard. Life, like a delicate dance, our friendship was warm and happy, but underneath the tranquil surface, fate was quietly dragging us toward a new destination. When I met him, his laughter and innocent questions made our house feel better and like we could do anything. Clay Jensen, and my motherhood changed as he grew up. Teaching was my purpose. I took my religious responsibility to watch over him seriously. That dreadful night, I had no idea our lives would be interwoven in ways I never dreamed. The full moon made my bedroom's soothing light look like a bizarre gathering. Clay Jensen, my teenage stepson, stood in silvery light. He stared at my intimate underwear like it was gold. YouTube punished me, so I can't add videos to this channel anymore. If you appreciate my videos and wish to contribute, subscribe to my new channel. It matters to me. The sight took my breath away and my usually steady heart started fluttering with mixed emotions. His black silk thing from Toby Damon was a small piece of me. It showed our unconscious interest. His fingers barely stroked the fabric as I stared. His touch conveyed regard and I sensed something deep was moving. Both of us. I never considered our love's boundaries. I was his stepmother, intended to guide and help, not capture his eye. I stood on the verge of this unforeseen moment, experiencing astonishment and attraction in every part of my body. Unspoken feelings flooded the room, making our life's dance appear more intricate than it was. Clay Jensen's eyes, now showing adult yearning, showed me what kind of man he was. He become. The tiny boy who played at my feet was gone. In front of me stood a young man discovering himself. He liked me for both innocent and adult reasons. I remembered our wonderful moments. Bedtime stories, scraped knees I kissed better, and lengthy discussions when I told you everything. In the moonlit room, I had to accept that Clay Jensen was gone. Watch and guide my child. Now that he was young, I was attracted into our complicated dance of repressed passion. Slow and tense. The moment was thrilling and scary. I debated protecting my child like a mother versus taking a risk that others would consider improper. The small silk underwear he held symbolized how we felt but didn't speak. The secret was too strong to ignore but too bold to reveal. This anecdote illustrates the power of unfiltered emotions. Social norms are broken. On this excursion, beyond desire, my stepson and I had more going on. A narrative about relationships set against forbidden feelings. Enter this personal narrative of love and lust to see how a link that didn't work like other ties began. The morning calm after our secrets were disclosed is like previously. The storm. My nighttime memories are apparent when I wake up. No more hazy dreams. My life will alter as I take the difficult route of recognizing and accepting our family's unconventional love. Clay Jensen, my stepson, is back in the kitchen in the pale morning light. His still wet hair indicates he just showered, preparing him for a long chat. We meet with eyes in the window reflection. We know to relax. Clay Jensen, self-study begins. The night prior must be discussed. My words are hard and require honesty and guts. Fear and mistrust in his eyes make me feel the same. I persist, determined to face the reality. He keeps calm and exhales a breath he has held all night. He has an open face that shows his grief. Not guilty. I ask him to join me at the table so we can discuss difficult topics. Fear not, Clay Jensen, I say, taking his hand across the table. I speak softly yet firmly. I know you like me and I'm here to discuss and listen without judging. After I say that, he squeezes my hand, showing relief that he no longer carries a secret. I couldn't sleep last night. His voice breaks. I kept thinking about you, us and me. I'm terrified because I can't handle these emotions. Fear is okay. Clay Jensen, I tell him, and my heart goes out to this young man learning about love in the weirdest way. Accepting our sentiments is hard, but it's essential to growing up. Everyone must discover who they are and what they want. He doesn't risk rejection or judgment if he fails. He glances into my eyes. Never before have I felt this way. Everything's new to me, he says. His eyes are curious and frightened. Though you've always made me feel like a mom, today I feel different. You must find this confusing. Life throws us curveballs that make us question what we think we know about the world and ourselves. The only way to grow is to face these challenges head on. Is it okay for me to feel this way about you, my dad's wife? I read about these things and they're all so taboo. His worried question shows how his heart is struggling with social norms. As I wait for him to answer, I carefully choose my words. As I ask him to make sense of his crazy feelings, Clay Jensen, it's about following your heart. They told them the truth that they both knew but were afraid to say. And Clay Jensen's eyes filled with tears of relief. He'd been keeping secrets from everyone for a long time. For a moment, we sit in silence. We understand each other better. And an unspoken bond is formed between us through revelation and acceptance. As the conversation continues, we balance our family duties with our growing romance. As his friend and lover, I help him navigate the world of deep desires he has only just begun to explore. The cool smell of coffee and the quiet of the morning witness our honest conversation, which will change our lives and lead us down a path where family, love, and passion come together in a complex and spellbinding way. Every waking moment is a chance to watch my stepson Clay Jensen grow into a well-behaved, good-looking young man. As I watch him, I notice small changes in his mood, how he walks, and even the air he breathes. I admire these features. My instincts as a mother are mixed with deeper and more sensual feelings. As I watch Clay Jensen, I feel like I want to show a different side of myself. And my clothes start to reflect how I'm changing on the inside. Every day, I take off more of my traditional clothes and wear styles that show off my femininity with renewed confidence. Describe. Every morning, I fully embrace being a woman without reservations. As I put on makeup, that moment, frozen in time, has become a catalyst that has freed me from the subtle limits of being a mother. About our daily lives, I think about him more than I'd like to admit. When he looks at me, I can picture how his eyes light up and how long his gaze lasts, longer than society might expect. My fantasies are fueled by the memory of how close we were. I long for his innocent touch, which used to affect me so much. One from Clay Jensen, his fingers dancing across my skin. At that moment, I'm transported to a world where our family ties are weak and our attraction to each other is the only thing that holds us together. I dance to tease and attract you with every move I make. Every gesture I make is a silent declaration of what I want. I see him looking at my shoulders when they're bare at family gatherings. His eyes go all the way down my body, showing more than is polite. We both know it's a game. A silent dance of temptation, where every inch of skin says more than any D as a new person. Subtleties become stronger statements. When we share a joke, I lean in closer until I can barely breathe, sigh on his cheek, carefully touch his, leaving a warm feeling behind, and laugh with an invitation. Each of these actions is a planned step into the unknown. When I take off my clothes at night, it's a ritualistic letting go of tradition, a celebration of my freedom and the spark of our shared passion. The air was thick with excitement as the sun went down, casting a warm orange glow across the sky and letting me know that my secret plan could begin. As I prepared for the performance that night, my heart raced. It was a private show meant to spark Clay Jensen's desire and bring our shared passion to the forefront. I carefully set up an intimate atmosphere in the lounge room, lit by a single lamp with a warm, sultry color. The air was thick with the smell of vanilla incense, which was meant to wake people up and help them relax, like the calm state between dreams grow. I laid down on the couch slowly, leaving my skin bare so the soft light could bathe my sensual curves. Deep and steady breathing matched the steady beat of the background music I chose. A pulsing but quiet melody that gave the room an unspoken hint. As he rounded the doorframe, his pause showed that he was shocked by what he saw. His eyes were as big as saucers as they took in my beautiful body. As I smiled, I felt like I was being invited to a world where stepmother and stepson rules didn't apply. I carefully planned this moment because I knew Clay Jensen, who was becoming more manly, wanted more than just the subtleties and gentle teases I had been giving him up to this point. At this point in our relationship, the only way to ease the tension we didn't want to talk about was to do something daring to provoke each other, like a planned seducing. Clay Jensen looked confused, perhaps trying to understand feelings he didn't fully grasp, as I ran my fingers through my hair, letting the strands fall against my breasts. I noticed that my breath was getting shallow and fast, just like the music. In the background, my captivating and well-planned movements set the climax of this private performance. I was careful to let my fingers follow the curves of my body. Knowing that each touch would draw his eyes to me, I hugged my knees, trying to suppress the storm of emotions rising within me. The seconds seemed to go on forever as I held his gaze, our eyes locked in a silent, wordless conversation that confirmed what we were afraid to say. As the background music reached its peak, so did my last act, a dramatic flourish that left no room for interpretation. At that moment, I showed how strong my desire was, confirming the passion I had been so brave to spark. Then I got up without saying a word, my nakedness a silent statement. Even though it wasn't clear at the time, what I did would soon have a huge impact on our relationship, sending ripples through our lives and pulling us deeper into the web of forbidden desire. The morning after my provocative performance, the air was thick with expectation. Second, each look was a silent acknowledgement of how passionate our relationship was growing. The tension that wasn't said was almost palpable in the house. And Clay Jensen's face showed a range of feelings every time he looked at me. I found Clay Jensen in the dimly lit living room, lying on the couch with his eyes closed and his hands moving in a way that seemed to be lost in his own pleasure as the sun went down. Gap between us. I walked up to him slowly and carefully because I was interested in his silent call. As I got closer, I saw his chest moving up and down with each heavy breath. His body showed how strongly he was feeling. I sat down next to him, being careful not to scare him, and crossed my legs so that my thigh touched his. The light touch lit a fire under our shared passion, revealed his complex desires. What do you want? As I leaned back against the cushions, I let my fingers lightly stroke my neck. Clay Jensen's eye caught my slightly exposed throat, and my hand moved slowly and purposefully, like a sensual dance that matched the beat of high caress. With my other hand, I reached out and touched his, our fingers intertwined. A silent confirmation of the path we both chose. At that moment, there was an unstoppable force pulling us together. A magnetism that went against reason and social norms. My free hand moved to his thigh in a possessive way. Claiming the space my body wanted to explore, I was mesmerized by how he showed his passion in a raw way and by the contrast between his masculinity and the vulnerability in his eyes as he fell into his knee. Over time, my hands started to move in a rhythm on his leg. A sensual exploration that matched his movements. It was a syncopated dance that brought our bodies and desires even closer together. When he was about to be freed, I leaned in and warmed his ear with my breath. My lips touched the lobe, and my mouth formed a seductive smile. It was just a breath of sound that broke down the walls between us. The ending was for both of us. I stood up and left him to his deep thoughts. What we had just talked about was making me feel like my mind was spinning. I went in my room alone and quietly shut the door behind me. I let the events of the night swirl in my mind like a storm full of feelings. I let the sun's rays convince me to take off several layers of clothing. I opened my body to both the sun's heat and Clay Jensen's eyes, which made my hunger worse and could no longer be ignored. This day was the end of a journey that began in the pale moonlight when we first saw our secret important moment. I've seen Clay Jensen's look at me slowly change from curious and shy to bold and confident. Every day his eyes showed that he was becoming more mature, that he understood the sensual world I helped him open up, and that his desire was growing, just like mine. Our soft touches and whispered conversations had started a fire that would get hotter and brighter. Divine path. Every drop of sweat that looked like a diamond on my skin showed how hot it was, both from the summer heat and the flame that would not go out between us. Our cautious touches and sneaky looks had turned into a smoldering ember that could start a fire of passion. From where I lay on the ground, I watched my Stepson grow into a young man with an insatiable thirst heart, which reflected the deep longing that our social roles told us to stifle. As I rose like a mirage in the desert, I took careful steps toward Clay Jensen, each one a pulse of determination toward our shared future. The rising heat of the midday sun was nothing compared to the fire that was burning in our bellies. My voice broke the silence with the truth we hadn't said. We can't lie and say we don't know Clay Jensen. It echoed through the air between heartbeats. Recognizing how strong our desires were and how pointless it was to fight them, Clay Jensen reached out and put his hands on mine, showing that our hearts were already united in a way that went beyond our family roles. I couldn't resist our shared need. So I pulled him closer until our bodies were only a breath apart, Each breath was a shared desire, a shared breath. The air was sparking with electricity, a physical sign of how much we needed each other. Strong desire to break free from social norms. His lips, which had never touched mine before, eagerly responded to my midst demands. His arms wrapped around me, pulling me closer into the cradle of his body, which I longed to explore. The kiss, which started out soft, got stronger as time went on, releasing the hunger we'd been holding in for too long. Could not describe. As our lips moved together, I ran my hands along his back, a risky move that made him shiver and made me want to go deeper into his unknown body. Clay Jensen felt reassured by my approach and returned my caresses, his fingers daring to explore areas that were once off limits to him. A mother figure became a woman of desires. As soon as our lips touched, a strong wave of energy ran through us. Breaking down any last hesitations or doubts, we gave in to the strong desires that had been building up for a long time. Our lips pressed together as if they had done it 1,000 times before. How he had grown from a boy to a man. His touch, which was hesitant at first, became more confident, claiming my body as if it were his own to enjoy and explore. As the kiss got deeper, it became a basic need that made us move as one. Our bodies knew exactly what to do to satisfy the burning desire inside us. Embrace. I was pressed against every curve of his body as the kiss lingered. I put my fingers under the waistband of his shorts to feel for the pulsing proof. The touch set off a firestorm of feelings that made us even more on fire. He made a low, guttural sound that was half pleasure and half pain. His body arched toward me and words of need hovered between us. As I led him to the bed, our steps were shaky from the dance of desire and we fell on top of each other in a heap of limbs and mouth searching. The fire trails our kisses left on our skin, necks, shoulders and torsos showed how passionate we were getting. I put my hands on his his rising yearning, which mirrored mine, rushed through his body and pleaded to be let out. I muttered, please, my voice with desperation. Wanting didn't require saying. Clay Jensen moved nearer, his eyes filled with the same unspoken appeal for acceptance and fulfillment, driven by the same energy that shook us both. There was a physical force driving us toward ultimate intimacy. The room shimmered with our presence, common want. He gave in to our passion and I encouraged him with words of support and screams of pleasure. I guided him with my body, hands, and words. In one lovely moment, our friendship deepened, became sexual, and 1,000 times more honest. Through our willingness to sacrifice each other, we formed a new kinship beyond familial duties. It was no longer a restrained beat. In a tremendous harmony of bodies, brains, and spirits. We're seeking pleasure and blending identities as two. People became one in the most personal act. Our dance intensified when our eyes locked and our lips touched for the first time. That final celebration went beyond sensual pleasure. We honored the strong connection between spirits who defied society norms to find each other. Clay Jensen's body left me breathless, touched me. Post-storm, our hearts beat together and foreheads touched. We didn't need to say anything in this hallowed spot since we were so connected we couldn't deny the fact. Our bodies, perspiration, and heartbeats were a gorgeous mess after our passionate hug. Our shared thrill united us. With our bodies still united, we rested. It looked like our passion stopped the world. But the quiet gave tranquility and a deep knowledge that our connection was more than physical. It was a deep soul alignment. Two hearts dancing a beautiful love dance. We grinned and touched each other's features with our fingers as our breathing slowly returned to normal. We saw without judgment or regret. They only accepted our deep and honest love. Clay Jensen spoke, his voice thick with unspoken truths. I want to feel you again. Differently. He asked for something promising and challenging, heavy words from him. I muttered, as you wish. I could feel every part of him and my body was responding to his unspoken needs. My smile meant 1,000 things. As I slowly rolled on him, he observed everything I did with dark, stormy eyes full of want. Power had slowly shifted, and we made my body as canvas because of my need. Every inch was within my control and every breath showed our excitement. I needed talent to identify his most sensitive points and caress, touch, and gently squeeze them, filling the room with delight. Because his body was so accustomed with mine, it responded to every gentle touch and deep probing. I felt powerful, seducing and teasing him with each stroke, and most importantly, power to push him to pleasure and pull him back. As our hearts raced in time with our desire, the room seemed to throb. I moved with him, applying pressure where needed and less elsewhere. The precise equilibrium my body could figure out from his. I used every gasp, sigh, and wordless sound to shape our blissful symphony. Clay Jensen twisted and arched as I touched him, his eyes closed and his mouth was open in a mute scream as he teetered on the verge, screaming but loving the exquisite torment. At the intersection of happiness and anguish, I held him, extending the moment and testing his endurance and our affection. He shouted, "Lisa, please." His eagerness echoed my own yearning, but I wasn't done weaving yearning and longing. I wanted him to share my ambition and succeed. Same rapture I knew he was breaking, so I let him go from the sweet torment. He shook and cried in a primitive way to convey how much he loved her. I liked their tune and touch rhythm. He was sleepy and loose when he came down. On that sweet moment, our breath mixed. Even though Clay Jensen was full, his eyes sparkled with new hunger. Our hearts beat and chests were squeezed together. He whispered, "Let's dance again." His fingertips stroked my jawline. "I want your pleasure." His hand made me feel nice this time. His fingers followed the natural rhythm he had felt. I let him dominate my feelings as I bent into his touch. I yielded to our wish. We found an emotional rhythm in our conversation, silent but deeply resonant. The smell of our over-the-top excitement testified to our mutual surrender to the limits we had breached and the personal limits we were still pushing. I felt love and freedom as our breaths roughened again and our bodies arched and twisted in need. I had crossed more than physical lines with my Stepson. My world of self-discovery, passion, and everlasting love had begun. In the tranquil core, passionate storm, we lie tangled, full and electrically alive from making love against the rules. The world around us, which had been so real moments earlier, receded into the distance, bringing comfort to our connected thoughts and bodies. Even though there was harmony, questions asked and unasked shook our shared understanding. Each inquiry fell into the pond like a stone. We formed a profound relationship and desire. Our fingertips, linked in a declaration of connection, were only visible outside. We made the stepmother-stepson relationship unusual and personal with every touch, caress and kiss. This development violated social standards and questioned our morals. Lisa's gentle voice broke the enchantment. Her head was in my shoulder hollow. "Clay Jensen, we're overreaching. You know how this alters everything." Her words were hefty. Grief and astonishment mirrored a truth we both recognized but not fully understood. In this strange new world, I silently squeezed her hand to let her know I was with her. I concurred. "It does." My heart understood what she said, but my body craved more. I said, "But it's okay because I wanted us to agree on the changes we knew were coming." She looked at me with the same astonishment and hesitation as mine. "It must be since it's not just wires, right?" She risked. Our shared experience made my voice unsteady. I said, "It feels like I've found a new planet solely between us." Her eyes brightened up with fresh understanding as she nodded. "We have a primordial understanding and acceptance. Never before have I felt this connection." At that moment, we knew our journey had begun. As a shy curiosity, an innocent step toward getting to know each other, but swiftly became an extraordinary journey of forbidden love and desire. It was alarming and exciting to realize what transpired. I whispered, amazed with our progress. "We've moved from fear and ignorance to daring exploration and consensus. We appear to have crossed a chasm others can't perceive or traverse." Beth Pearson nodded, tears still swimming in her eyes. She realized our steps were big. Normal relationships can't follow us into this new world. It's exhilarating and dangerous to be in unfamiliar terrain, but here we are, I thought as I delicately touched her cheek, giving her skin new sensations. Our souls unite us and prepare us for the future. We gradually understood each other. Our deep look, clingy bodies and combined breath answered all our unsaid questions. We knew that night was pivotal. Our link was reinforced and our heart's journey became holy. After that, we hugged and talked until dawn. We understood how complex and strong our relationship was. Moral concerns, social issues, and possibly tragedy lay ahead. We also discussed how profound love, understanding, and incomparable desire justified these dangers. Our private conversation began a new chapter, connection in which we eventually revealed previously unspoken details. Our road was perilous, but it promised an unfiltered view of the ultimate body-heart-soul connection, free from rules and motivated by an undefined passion. In our bedroom, away from the world's judgments and worries, we learned that love had no limitations. Knowing we had found a home in each other comforted us.